Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about the new event quest, as in the re-released version that just launched today, that we can explore again to get double rewards effectively if you have enough energy to this. But point is, in this video we're going to be discussing exactly what's different and what do we think about it. First things first, somehow for whatever reason, Kabam actually introduced several different tiering showcases here to show how the rewards are changing. But the big thing is that the rewards are slightly better, kind of, which is, again, not as a straightforward thing, but I think for most people, for most part, they are better. Here's like an example. Tier 2 to tier 6, again, that's just a change, basically, different tiering and slight increase in prestige, but you can see that tier 7 basic fragments have increased, and tier 4 alpha for him has increased. For me, actually, it went down a bit, I think. I'm quite sure. We can double check that in a second. And these things have increased slightly, and then 7-star Awakening Gem Shards and 6-star Statcast Relic Shards, one has decreased. And that kind of looks similar to me as well, because when I look from the first clear that I did from the lower tier, and when I compare it to right now, is here, you can see that I'm definitely getting more tier 7 basic, 46 37, so it's like 12k more. I did increase my prestige for almost 1,000 though. I did increase my prestige, by the looks of it, by like 700 something, but fair enough. At the same time, I am now getting slightly less tier 4 alpha fragments, so it's kind of weird. I think I'm getting like one more 6-stone, so effectively it's a bit tricky to say unless you go exactly item by item. So in the rewards department, are the rewards better? Kind of, yeah, not drastically, I will say so. Maybe just a weeny bit, but there. The distribution of them is better, so I'm going to give them credit there. So when we tap on the rewards milestones, we can see that you start earning like little tier 7 basic fragments, basically from the very beginning, as well as, some other half decent rewards. So that's nice. I like that. Which I believe actually probably is, because the lower milestones, aside from tier 7 basics, they look quite poor, right? So I think that's like the one thing that has changed. They just added tier 7 basic in the lower milestones, and that's why we have slightly more tier 7 basic in total, by the looks of it. And that's where we are. So the rewards slightly better. Some few items will be less. Then the difficulty, the big question: what is the change in the difficulty? And I had a lot of jerkways kind of help me out with that. So for most part, I'd say it's about 25%. This is like one of the examples that we pulled up, but we later took a few more. And effectively, it looks to me as approximately 20-25% reduction overall in health and attack, basically. That, makes it more manageable. It does. Does it feel great? Not necessarily. It's not a quick affair still. It's still quite long to do. And even with the reduced values, I still find it odd that this has more attack than 9.3 does. I have seen some people with lower prestige in mine, and their attack is effectively the same as 9.3, which I still think is not necessarily reasonable. Especially for classic EQ, because this is like one more of the things where classic EQ and elder difficulty both have the same attack and health, which is wild to me. Where when we enter the game, so if I'm going to take elder difficulty, the first quest, first fight, and I'm going to check up on whichever champion, it effectively will have more or less the same attack and health, if not exactly. So we're going to preview that. Where's the boss? There we go. So there's Gwenpool, and it has 626k health and 17k attack. Right, so that's the Elder difficulty. And now, let's check the classic Gwenpool out. And where's the boss? 626 and 70k. So it doesn't feel quite right. I'm going to speak about classic difficulty a bit more, but if you do this, then again, the option for, new Valiants and the low prestige players, it doesn't feel right. I'm going to put it like that. This one ought to be easier? No? Just a thought. But there you go. So Kabam has reduced the attack and health values. And that's effectively the only thing that has changed. Nothing else has. No energy requirements, the amount of fights, everything else has not changed. So objectively and factually speaking, this is better. But the question they asked at the end of my live stream that I just did playing this, do you look at this as a content that you look forward to playing? It's like next month we're gonna get a new Elder EQ, and if it stays the same, basically just like different champions, different fights, do you want to play it? Is it something you're looking forward to? And just what everybody said, no. So that's kind of my opinion on it as well. So Kabam addressed like a few things there, which is good that they did. Is it a good piece of content now? Absolutely not. It still sucks. First thing is, like, again, why do I have to spend an hour and a half to do the regular difficulty? We just moved away from it. It's just tedious and boring. And I'm going to explain the double-edged sword here especially. Because they effectively have the same nodes, right? So if I have to clear the same content twice, basically. Except the only time, or the other time, in the Elder difficulty, I need to use some shittier champions. But for most part, it's the same attack and health, it's the same nodes, and it feels shit to do it twice. And in this case, like the fourth time, I guess. I'm really, really, really need to get rid of that. And remove the requirement to do the classic difficulty. Period. That's it. That's like the one big thing immediately making the content better. It's like, because again, like, dumb. It feels dumb. It feels tedious. It feels mind-numbing. That is the second problem. And it doesn't feel like that just because I had to play it effectively for the fourth time now. It also feels like that because it's the same fights I have been doing since 2020. These are the same fights with the same nodes, that I have been doing in 2020 in relative to the progression level. In 2020, I was using like 6-star rank 3s or something like that. I'm using 7-star rank 3s. But, adjusted for attack and health and all that stuff, it's basically the same fights. So it feels like doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I understand that Kabam couldn't change it this time around. But overall, it is a massive point of contention to me that this content feels lazy and tedious and regurgitated, hundreds of times over by now. And even if they had gotten like perfect attack tuning to the point where nobody complains and the perfect amount of fights and path and stuff like that, it would still feel like a mid content to me because I have done it so many times. And Kabam just needs to stop being as lazy. They need to, give us some different fights, give us some different nodes, give us some different, abilities and fight interactions. And especially because these nodes are supporting the old champions, like in tech class, like in, many other classes. I can't even use the champions that I have recently acquired that I love to play with right now in many other classes. Like, again, the brightest example here was still the tech class. My favorite tech champions for most part, would be, I don't know, Starkey, Shocker, and what have you. Just can't use them here because they don't have the armor. I mean, like, I can, but it feels wrong because I don't work with the nodes at all. So that's the thing. And what does the community think for most part? So Kabam really cannot read the room regarding the EQ. So obviously it's not particularly well received at all. There's obviously always the contrarians, but the base point is, I don't think anybody expected Kabam to do everything with this re-release, which is, you know, why I'm giving them credit of that. So do you expect changes announced to the next month's event quest? Like, this format that they have picked, one of the biggest first immediate feedbacks they got is that we didn't like all the portals, for instance. And they removed it for like the next month, right? But now they're back. And a whole bunch of stuff like that. There's so much work to be done with EQ. And this is better, but it's still kind of garbage. This absolutely is not a content that I look forward to playing. The rewards, I don't think they're great, but fine. You know, I'll do the content for the rewards, but it's more of a chore or a slog than me having fun at the game. And I don't think that should be the intention of a monthly event quest in this game at all. So there's one negative thread about it, cherry on top. This is another thing that I did want to leave for the end. And then obviously the rewards comparison thread here. Overall, from what I have seen, from what I have read, people are not loving it. And I didn't expect people to. Again, because it's important to kind of like temper our expectations, I suppose. One thing, the final thing that I'm going to say here, in the announcement in regards to compensation, immediate update, right? I understand that I didn't specifically say that, but compensation consisting of energy refills, revives, and potions will be distributed. Please note the compensation packages for the final AW issue is going to be, you know, still pending. The one thing that I had kind of imagined is that Kabam's going to send out this compensation package in the amount of energy refills it took us to, let's say, complete Classic and Elder difficulty. Oh, and in my mind, I know that they didn't set it here, but I guess it's selective reading. I figured they'd be sending it to the people who actually did the Elder difficulty. But they chose to send it to everybody, which is fine. However, the compensation package felt quite underwhelming with the 5 refills in it. You know, for especially at this time, when Kabam knows everybody's out of energy. When Kabam knows for a fact energy is like a massive issue, that there have been like a dozen threads made. The re-release event quest, understanding that it's going to take a lot of extra energy to get through again, which is like, you know, quite significant energy cost to it. And they send out compensation specifically regarding the event quest, and they do not send anywhere near enough refills to effectively account for one clear of this event quest. It feels in poor taste. I'm not gonna lie, it feels in quite poor taste, in my opinion. When I saw the compensation, up until today, up until I actually saw the compensation, in my mind, I genuinely thought it's gonna be like 10 refills or something, however many is needed to actually do a run through that. But I guess that is too much to ask. I'm not gonna harp on too much, but the overall kind of experience and rerun with this event quest has been I'm just tired. Like that's how I genuinely feel about much of what is happening in the game, but especially in regards of event quest, having like done the regular difficulty again and started the Elders one. Tired. It's tedious. It's not a fun time. It's not a great piece. Like, for instance, if they reset Wheel of Fate even, you know, I'd have much better time going in it again. Even though not every fight was great, even though I didn't have all the great counters, and I don't think Wheel of Fate was a great piece of content, it would be much, much more entertaining, interesting, and I'd be much more eager to do it again, opposed to doing this again. And I know I don't have to. Like nobody has to do anything in the game. It's a game. You don't want to, you don't complete it. But that's not the point. The point is whether this is a good, engaging piece of content, and it absolutely is not, at the very least to me. So I do hope 2 things. Hope number 1, Kabam keeps us updated on what they're doing with the event quest, and number two, I hope they actually do make a lot of change to the event quest to make it as good as possible. Up the nodes, reduce the fight amount a little bit, and make it fun, and get rid of the completion requirement for the classic difficulty. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, doing this quest again, just even if it's easier, it just reminded me that it's not a good time. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about